Hello, everyone. It is 8 o'clock in the evening. I just came across this rather, suspect spreader event on Krem 2. Let's watch together.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Krem 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Tom Sherry. Whitney is on assignment tonight. Krem 2 is following up today on a super spreader event that is continuing to cause a spike in COVID cases up in Ferry County. It was a 3-day gathering in Republic, but it's now infected nearly 100 people.
Krem 2's Whitney Ward has been tracking this story. She is in Republic tonight and has more now.
Yes, that event was billed as a recruiting event here for the Eagles Club in the town of Republic. It took place over the weekend of April 9th, 10th, and 11th. Now, some have told us that the event was also advertised as a protest against COVID restrictions, but I talked to the club president here at the Eagles. He said absolutely not. It was a dinner and poker night to attract new members. Either way, health officials tell me that patient zero has been traced back to this event. Since then, the infections here have reached far into this community. The bank had to shut down early and even bring in temporary employees from other towns. One of the only grocery stores in town also has had limited capacity. Even county services have taken a hit. Court cases are now being delayed, all because so many workers were either sick or in quarantine.
There's been 95 people that have tested positive since that event, and the vast majority of those people, there was some association either by the attendance or from a secondary infection that resulted in a positive case. So they continue to test very widely. At present, they tested over 500 people, and they continue to test. Even today, there's still demand for people that are going in with symptoms and needing to be tested.
When did you realize that this was a serious problem?
Within the first 5 or 6 days, just because the amount of people who are showing up symptomatic to get tested had spiked, significantly, and we were already seeing people showing up at the hospital within that first week, which we hadn't seen a COVID positive patient that was ill for, several weeks to months prior to that.
Now hospitalizations are also on a sharp incline. Some patients are even being sent to Spokane or Wenatchee, where capacity has also been limited. Right now, there is a sign on the door here at the Eagles telling people that it is closed until further notice. In the meantime, health officials told me today they fully expect the numbers to continue getting worse before they get better. They also expect to see more cases in outlying areas start to pop up as well as this virus continues to spread across the region. In Republic tonight, Whitney Ward, Krem 2 News.
All right, so I held my tone down for the whole thing because that's propaganda, people. Why is it propaganda? So I heard two hard numbers there. And that whole deal, everything was descriptive without actual numbers. So first, we'll walk through it now. Let me walk through you and show you how you can tell they're fucking lying. They're slanted, they're angled. This isn't news. This is to scare you. First of all, COVID isn't that deadly. It's not that deadly. Second, your people are going to get it. I've had it. I'm fat. I smoke. Not a big deal. People are going to get it. Tuberculosis is more deadly than COVID. So this idea that no one should get it or is going to get it or we should try to make it, that's the wrong way to go about this. But let me tell you how they're slanted in their journalism. This isn't news. This is propaganda. Hello?
That is continuing to cause a spike in COVID cases up in Ferry County. It was a 3-day gathering in Republic, but it's now infected nearly 100 people.
So here's the first problem. How many people gathered? All right? Did 100 people gather and 100 people got it? Was it 3,000 people gathered? How many people got together originally at this recruitment thing, this 3-day recruitment? Second, were they warned by some public figure beforehand, because I'm pretty sure the news agency and the government were waiting for this to happen. They didn't want these people to do this, so look, Einstein said, if you don't believe in miracles, you won't see them. But if you believe in them, you'll see them everywhere. This is a psychological concept. If you believe racism exists, and that's what you focus on, that's all you'll see is racism. If that's what you focus on. Everything's racism. If you're not worried about racism, you probably won't see it very often. If you're trying to spot people guilty of super spreading, you're probably going to find all the information stacked that way. These people are looking for people to put under public trials, like the Nazis did, like Soviet Union did. Let's continue.
In this story, she is in Republic tonight and has more now.
Yes, that event was billed as a recruiting event here for the Eagles Club in the town of Republic. It took place over the weekend of April 9th, 10th, and 11th. Now, some have told us that the event was also advertised as a protest.
So, I don't trust that they can track the zero patient to here. How do we know they can do that? How do they know they're not wrong? How do they know that they're not wrong? I mean, tracking, is tracking, but everything's fucking errorable. But here's the thing. If you've been watching the Spokane headlines, Spokane, about to go back into phase 3, a spike, an increase in cases. All right? So, the fact that they're spiking in Republic at the same time they're spiking in Spokane makes me think they're just spiking naturally, and this really didn't have anything to do with it, because we're going back to normal.
But I talked to the club president here at the Eagles. He said absolutely not. It was a dinner and poker night to attract new members. Either way, health officials tell me that patient zero has been traced back to this event. Since then, the infections here have reached far into this community. The bank had to shut down early and even bring in temporary employees from other towns. One of the only grocery stores in town also has had limited capacity. Even county services have taken a hit.
People go in Spokane. People have been going into grocery stores and, for this whole time. Now suddenly, over propaganda, because look. They're setting this Eagles Club up because they don't want them to meet, because they don't like it. And so they're going to see all the information, and they're going to frame it in a way that makes this Eagles Lodge look like the culprit, which we got to stop making people culprits. We got to stop this whole thing of blaming people for getting sick, and then blaming people for being alive, and then blaming people for going outside their house. This is a really sick psychology.
Delayed, all because so many workers were either sick or in quarantine.
There's been
How many of those
95
workers?
people that have
I don't
tested
believe that.
positive.
I don't believe the fucking tracking system. You're telling me while Spokane has been on a rise, you're telling me it's that these people didn't. Somebody couldn't have traveled to Spokane for the weekend to party it up, to get some drugs, to do whatever, and then go back up to Republic, and then bring it up from there. I mean, it's hard. I don't know. The reason the tracking shit doesn't work is because everybody's not on it. And they can, it's not good science.
And the vast majority of those people, there was some association either by the attendance since that event. And the vast majority of those people, there was some association either by the attendance or from a secondary infection.
Right. So some vague this about some vague that, and if they weren't directly involved, they might have known. It's Republic. Everybody knows everybody. All right. So if you're going to blame a secondary person, It's easy to fucking track that back to any fucking place. They all know each other, right? They all see each other at the post office. They all fucking go to church together. There's been 2 church services since that or should be. This is not accurate reporting.
Positive case. So they continue to test very widely. At present, they tested over 500 people, and they continue to test. Even today, there's still demand for people that are going in with symptoms and needing to be tested.
When did you realize that this was a serious problem?
As a precaution, no one shut those grocery stores down but the grocery stores. No one shut those banks down but the people in it deciding they didn't want to show up. They didn't get sick per se. They just said, well, I'm not coming in. I'm not going to get the COVID, so I'm not going to come in. So they had to get somebody else to fill in for these pussies that didn't want to work. As a precaution, volunteers will be closed today, April 14th, through Tuesday, April 7th. Who decided 6 days? Who decided 6 days why not 7? Why not 5? It's not science here, people.
Within the first,
And don't tell me they don't like those fucking days off. We've got a shortage of employees in Spokane right now because people don't want to come off their unemployment. We've got all sorts of people hiring. Wonder why? Because people don't want to go back to work. They like that free money. You're fucking getting played.
5 or 6 days, just because the amount of people who are showing up symptomatic to get tested.
Just because why? Why 5 or 6 days, motherfucker? Why 5 or 6 and not 7? Why not 7, 8? Why not 4 or 5?
It had spiked, significantly, and
Spiked significantly. What's that mean? 2 to 3 more a day? 5 or 6 more a day? 10 more a week? What's the fucking number, dude?
people
It's his
showing up at the
opinion.
hospital within that first week, which we hadn't seen a COVID positive patient that was ill for several weeks to months.
Well, you wouldn't see a COVID positive patient that wasn't ill. You'd only see ill COVID patients. You'd only see ill patients. And again, that could be flu.
Now, hospitalizations are also on a sharp incline. Some patients are even
Prior to that,
Now, hospitalizations are also on a sharp incline.
What's a sharp fucking incline? What's that number? Because if you only had 3 people in the hospital, and now you got 5 or 7, that's a sharp incline. But is really anything you're worried about? If you had 20 people in the hospital, and suddenly you have 28, is that a sharp incline? What's the fucking number, people? No, they don't. They want to be vague so they can spin it the way they want to spin it to make you more scared than you really should be, because then they can control you through fear.
Patients are even being sent to Spokane or Wenatchee, where capacity has also been limited.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. How dumb is that? Send COVID patients over here and over there so they can spread it. What the fuck are you thinking, motherfuckers? What the fuck? Why would you send patients away from your... I don't believe them. I don't believe them.
There is a sign on the door here at the Eagles telling people that it is closed until further notice. In the meantime, health officials told me today they fully expect the numbers to continue getting...
So, they fully expect. How do we know? This bitch ain't going to come back and say, hey, they were wrong. This bitch is not going to come back and say, hey, these health officials who told me they totally expected to rise, well, guess what? They didn't. They leveled off and fell. This bitch is not going to come back. You shouldn't be predicting the future while you're reporting based off somebody's fucking opinion who's some podunk fucking medical examiner.
Before they get better, they also expect to see more cases in outlying areas start to pop up as well as this virus continues.
Because they weren't. Because they weren't. So look. Oh, I did it again.
Ward. Krem 2 News has this. They also expect to see more cases in outlying areas start to pop
But
up
will
as
they?
well as
But
this
will it
virus
happen?
continues to spread across the region.
There's no way to hold these predictions accountable. But they'll wait 5 months or 3 months or, go, oh, look, here they are. COVID, like H1N1, like SARS, is a seasonal virus. Seasonal. Springs, falls. We're in spring right now. Second, hospital. I'm looking at the goddamn microphone like I want to. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at you. I'm not autistic. Hospitals are designed to run at 80 to 90% capacity at all times, because if they don't, they close down because they can't pay their employees because they're not billing enough insurances to pay for their fucking overpriced fucking doctors and their janitors and all these fucking other shit. So they have to run at 80 to 90 just to stay open. Podunk little hospitals probably don't operate the same, don't have the same ability. If we could be talking 8 or 9 guys in a week overwhelming a small town fucking, why aren't we building COVID centers? They want you to be scared. They want the fucking hospitals to get paid and be full because it's control. Build a COVID center so people have somewhere to go to be sick with COVID, out so they're not spreading it in the hospitals and other places. And make it for free if you're really scared about it. But they won't. They don't want to solve the problem. They just want to make you scared about the problem. Fuck, I'm sick of this world.